Hello, my name is Kate Waters and I'm a theatre and film and TV fight director, and I'm also known as Kombat Kate in the business. So my job is to come in and choreograph whatever violence there might be in the play. So obviously in Macbeth there's a huge amount of violence in the play, so it was my job to tell that physical story. So I wanted to be an actor, yeah. So I went to university and did a BA in acting, and we did stage combat. I didn't have a clue what that was, but I seemed to take to those classes really easily. And I think it was because of everything that I'd done as a kid. I was pretty good at sport. It's kind of weird because, and I loved the drama classes at school, I loved all of that sort of stuff, but it's kind of weird, even from an early age, I was directing, but without knowing I was directing. So like, even at school, you know, when we had to do like little things in school, and all of those things were, when I look back on them, they were like coming from a physical storytelling. So I guess you could say it started from quite an early age without me knowing that it had started. And then when I was at college, I got to the end of my second year and I decided that pretty much was the route that I was wanting to take. The first thing you have to take into consideration is the story, yeah. So the script's the most important thing, yeah, and the character's motivation. So why are these characters fighting? Because the problem sometimes with fights on stage, they can look like they're just plonked on and they have to be perfectly integrated into everything else, the vision of the director in that world. Yeah, so I'm considering everything. I'm considering, from a creative, artistic point of view, I'm considering story, character motivation, the vision of the director, yeah, and how I can, and what the actors want to do as well, because they have to have ownership of the fight, yeah, that it's theirs. They have to feel like they're creating it as well. The worst thing you can do is just come in and say, this is what we're doing, yeah. So it's a very sort of collaborative process for me. That's how I work at my best. And then the other things that I have to consider is the capability of the actors, yeah, and get the best out of them. Yeah, so I have to work within their capability, within their range. Obviously, they have to, if it's a stage show, they have to do it up to 8 times a week. So sustainability of that for bodies. If it's film or TV, that's a little bit easier because you know you might be doing just a few takes and then it's done. And then obviously the health and safety aspect of everything goes into the job as well. But I don't think it's really, the safety obviously is paramount. The well-being of my actors is paramount in everything that I do. But it shouldn't be, I shouldn't be seen as a health and safety officer. I'm an artist first, yeah? So everything that I do when I'm creating, I'm also thinking about, okay, how can I make this work safely? No one else needs to know all of that. That's just my job. The job's challenging, yeah, but I consider myself a problem solver, yeah. So I think that people, so that's one of the best things I love about the job is that you're problem solving all the time. So you're thinking about ways you can do things rather than ways that you can't do things, and I think that's a good way of looking at your process. Yes. So if a director says, oh, can we do this? And I'm thinking, not sure about that, but we might be able to do this. Yes, so it's not like cutting it off straight away. It's it sometimes gives you a little door that opens it to something else that could actually be more creatively satisfying. So the job's challenging, but the creativity is the best part, yeah. Time. everyone in our industry will always say time is an issue, yeah, and every department will be fighting for their bit of time. And for me, I'm in and out of a process. So the challenging part for me personally is that I have to work out the dynamic of that room really quickly, and I have to work out the needs of that room really quickly. And I could be doing that several times a day. So that's challenging just for me personally, you know. But it's also quite exciting as well. So I think challenging and exciting go hand in hand, to be honest, because, you know, if it's not something that's the challenge is worthwhile, because that's the exciting part, yeah? I could do without scheduling sometimes, or most of the time, but I'll never stop getting excited about doing another show and seeing what that room dynamic is, and trying to work that out, and trying to make people and try and help people be the best version of themselves. I'll never stop enjoying that part of the job. So how you use your time is the most important thing. Yeah, so whatever time you're given, you've got to use that as constructively as you can. And as I said earlier, time is always precious, and everyone will say they never have enough time. So I kind of look at it like this, that just because I've got more experience, what can I do in the time that I've been given and I'm getting paid to do? Yeah. So then I'll adapt the fight around how much time I've got. So yeah, it's like it could take one session to make it look really good. I mean, like when I'm working on camera, I've got to do it there. It gets shot, we're done. Yeah, theatre's a bit different. So it's an ongoing process, I think, about how you can best use your time. And sometimes I have to fight for that. And I think that's important as well, because you're fighting for the show, and you're fighting for the actors in that show so that they can do their best work. So I will fight for time if I need it, because it's important. Learn how to do it properly. Yeah. It's a very different skill to just being able to know how to fight. Yeah, if you're an actor who's got good fight skills, doesn't mean to say that you can be a director. Yeah, it's a completely different skill. You need to know how to read the psychology of a room and all of that. So not necessarily, I would say is like 80% of the job. Yeah, so get yourself a good mentor. Get yourself as involved as you possibly can with getting into rooms with people, which is difficult at the moment because of COVID. But once we're through this, I would try and shadow fight directors if you can, and see how they work, and get as many. Just try to absorb as much as you possibly can. And also, the other bit of advice I would give is, it's not about the moves, it's about the story.